European River Rides. This is e-biking the Loire, part 1. That's from Nevers to Orléans. This is about a third of the whole Loire trip, and it goes westwards from Nevers up towards Orléans, which we used as our base. We packed 4 bikes, 8 panniers and barely any people into our car and drove it to Orléans. You can't move in Orléans for statues of Joan of Arc, Jeanne d'Arc. Nice place, Orléans. It's got a fantastic blue sky. Oh, and a rather swish cathedral, like most French cities. We found that the old town wasn't exactly built to speed fire engines around. Once having reassembled our bikes, we packed them into the train and whizzed off eastwards towards Nevers. We mostly stayed in cheap hotels overnight, but in Nevers we had an Airbnb. Nevers also is fitted with the standard city cathedral. 1 or 2 bits of the old wall are left as well, and only plagued by the occasional tourist. So the following morning we pedalled down to the Loire and crossed it on this pretty standard multi-arch bridge known as the Pont de Loire locally. Despite us wanting actually to go generally northwest, we started the day going southeast. My, you're beautiful. Is it too early for a beer? Not too early for a beer for everybody, obviously. And our route took us up the embranchement de Nevers, a branch line of the Canal Latéral à la Loire. And the embranchement goes to the écluse de Verville, which is the lock of Verville, at the place called Les Religieuses. And it's at this point that it joins into the Canal Latéral à la Loire. A great phrase. And not too far into the morning, the canal went over the river l'Allier, which is a tributary of the Loire, and it went over the river on this beautiful old aqueduct. The Martins and Swifts really weren't impressed by the drone. I guess they must have had chicks in their nests. On the northwestern end of the aqueduct, there are 2 humongous locks to let the boats back down to ground level. Or, of course, to take the boats up to aqueduct level. Nice little cafe on the end as well.
Are you getting low on battery?
The first couple of days of our Loire biking trip weren't actually along the Loire at all. They were alongside this canal that runs parallel to the Loire. But it is quite an interesting trip because there are old branches back into the Loire, like the ancient canal here. The Loire itself, this far inland, is largely unnavigable because it's so shallow. It's called a sauvage river, a savage or wild river. It was a nice warm day the first day, but we could have done without the shower. And our first day ended here at La Charité sur Loire. Nice place. And Charité had the oldest buildings we came across in the whole trip, some of which were so old they weren't even there anymore. Following morning, clear blue sky, nice warm day, over the bridge to the south side of the Loire. And this trip, like all of our other trips, followed the same pattern of 11:30ish, find a nice table and chairs in the shade. We were usually quite close to the river, but very often we couldn't see it because of the hinterland of trees and banks and bushes.
La Loire à Vélo. That away.
It is a superb ride, the La Loire à Vélo, but please don't expect to be alongside the river as you would be alongside the Elbe or the Rhine in Germany. You're not. Lots of interesting things to see though. the end of day 2 we stayed at Cosnicourt, just opposite the railway station. La Loire à Vélo takes you mainly on the south side of the Loire, though that's probably because, in the early part of the journey at least, it takes you alongside the Canal Latéral à la Loire. At Le Tang you can see the original course of the old Ancien, the ancient canal.
The Ancien Canal Latéral à Loire. Canal, the ancient canal going into the Loire. Presumably just here.
This is the Canal Latéral à la Loire going into the Loire in order to cross it to the north side. And this place is the quite famous Mantelot Lock, Écluse. The old trading boats used to have to struggle their way across the Loire, sometimes in rough water, sometimes in water that was just too shallow to the north side. And this lock is where the traffic came back out of the river and into a canal again, going north. And we followed it on the north bank for a while until we came to the Grand Replacement project. This is the famous Briare aqueduct. Rather lovely to pedal across though, very wide, very long as well, over 600 metres long. Oh look, another multi-arch bridge, and this place is called Gien, G-I-E-N. So day 3 we lost the canal and rode up along the top of the flood bank of the Loire itself.
My favourite member of the human race. A hard line in the bottom of some of those clouds, not seen that before.
This part of the Loire à Vélo is a lovely, interesting ride, full of interesting surprises. At Sully-sur-Loire, we got the shock of our lives. The first of the Loire château for us, and I can honestly say it was actually the best one. Do you think that's a book cover picture? Though there were a lot of tarmacked cycle tracks, there were some hard paved with just gravel, compounded gravel. We stayed at Châteauneuf-sur-Loire as well, in a very nice B&B. And that night there was a heavy rainstorm. But the cycle tracks that weren't paved never got too muddy. Back to the southern side, over the bridge at Châteauneuf-sur-Loire. It's 11:30 again, love. That storm had brought down quite a few of the twigs from the trees and coated the path near Orléans. Even when it was overcast, it was still very warm. We went in June. back into Orléans, back to the same hotel, and we had a day off in Orléans while we waited for our dear friends Ray and Mandy to join us for the next part of the trip. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please come back when I get the next section done.